the fortune teller's stock in trade is the ability to take ordinary situations and turn them into mystical events. Cold reading is probably the standardized way of performing these miracles, at least mental miracles, and that is to give a person information about themselves based on little cues or retrieval cues that you see, sort of watching for responses on their part to tell you whether you're correct or whether you're way off base. As long as you stay on the right track, then you eventually wind up reading them like a book, and they will in turn be like putty in your hands. Of course, most cold readers now, at least from what I've seen and what I've heard, don't admit even to be cold readers or actual professional fortune tellers that use gimmicks or applied psychology. Most of them claim to have gifts from God or from a higher power, and they prefer it that way because, again, that's their good guy badge. They can't just say, well, I'm crafty enough, or I'm clever enough, or I'm talented perhaps enough to be able to pick up nuances about another's personality or personal life and feedback, amplify, expand upon those things in a convincing manner. I played the Calliope, I guess, from about 1947 up through 1966. When the Church of Satan was formed, I was still getting jobs and playing in parades, fairs, and things like that. Other than Calliope, I played band organs and carousel organs, and they're basically the sort of thing you hear in amusement parks. And they used to have a keyboard that pulled out where you could play them manually, and some of them were actually intended to be played with all the sound effects, the bird whistles and the horse's hooves and the sleigh bells and the trolley gongs and everything, with a big row of brass pedals down at the bottom that you could push for the various effects. They used to use them in a sort of modified version. They're called photo players in old silent movie theaters, and they couldn't afford a big Wurlitzer pipe organ or something like that. So they would get one of these smaller things, which was very much like a merry-go-round organ, but with a keyboard and able to be controlled by the player.
The Tasmanian devil is unique to Tasmania and is the island's unofficial mascot. It is a rural cleaner, playing a vital role in the ecosystem by devouring carcasses that might otherwise lead to disease. Full-grown Tasmanian devils are famous fighters. Their ferocity is legendary, particularly when it comes to food. Once these scavengers find a carcass in the forest, it's a feeding frenzy. Pound for pound, Tasmanian devils have the most powerful bite in the world, designed for ripping open carcasses and crushing bones. Wildlife photographer Christo Baz sets out on a journey which will make history. He's hoping to photograph the elusive nocturnal creature the Tasmanians call the devil. But nothing in the world could prepare him for what walks in front of his lens. What he photographs looks like something out of a horror film. Suddenly, another grossly distorted Tasmanian devil emerges from the dark. is happening in the forest of Tasmania? What is creating these disfigurements? It's given the name devil facial tumor disease, or DFTD. It's a new strain of cancer.
The fact that there was no record of this sort of disease showed us we had a new problem. Devils seem to have a new problem.
Tasmanian devils have been found with a new kind of cancer. 3 different locations, same disease. But where has this cancer suddenly come from? On the Australian mainland, the devil is believed to have been wiped out by dingoes over 400 years ago. The island is the last devil outpost. But for over a century, devils were hunted and poisoned by farmers. By the 1930s, their numbers had fallen to a dangerously low level, and killing devils was outlawed in 1941.
Now, when they started to build up again, because they started with a very low number of devils, we obviously got quite a lot of inbreeding.
Inbreeding means devils are genetically alike, so their immune systems recognize the infectious cancer cells as their own cells and don't fight them. If the devils were more genetically dissimilar, the cancer cells would appear to be alien, and their immune systems would respond.
Most of the devils here are very closely related, so the wrong disease can go right through the population, and that's what we're seeing.
The mystery of the mutant devils is solved. The ultimate challenge is next: how to save the devil.